Yes, Prabhu.
Yeah, let me sing this quickly. I couldn't finish. Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Praveen Prabhu, for coordinating all these weekend Bhagavatam sessions. I really appreciate your services, Prabhu. Dandavat pranam. Thank you very much. Madhav Mataji, Tulsi Mataji, Ram Reddy Prabhu, Samyukta Mataji, Subbara Prabhu, Dandavat pranam. Hare Krishna. Saraswati Mataji, Hare Krishna Lavanya. Thank you very much. And then we'll start session. Okay? Yeah. Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Venam Kvanantam Aravinda Dalayataksham Parhavatam Samas Sundarangam Gandharvakoti-kamaniya Vishesha Shobha Govinda Adipurusha Tamaha Bhajami Govinda Adipurusha Tamaha Bhajami Anganiyasya sakale Driyavrittimanti Pasyanti Panti Kalayanti Teram Jagranti Ananda Chinmaya Sadhu Jvala Vigrahasya Govinda Adipurusha Tamaham Bhajami Govinda Adipurusha Tamaham Bhajami. Shri Brahma Samhitam prayers ki jai, Lord Brahma ki jai, Supreme Personality of Godhead Shri Govindan ki jai. Let me sing Shri Guru Vandanam. Just a second. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Srila Gurudev ki jai, Srila Narottam Das Thakur ki jai, Shri Guru Vandanam ki jai. Shri Guru Charana Padma Kevala Bhakati Sadma Vando Moi Savadhana Mate Vando Moi Savadhana Mate Jahara Prasade Bhai E Bhava Toriya Jai Krishna Prapti Hoy Jaha Hoite Krishna Prapti Hoy Jaha Hoite Guru Mukha Padma Vakya Chitete Koriya Aikya Harana Kori Mane Asha Harana Kori Mane Asha Sri Guru Charane Rati Aise Utamagati Jai Prasade Pure Sarva Asha Jai Prasade Pure Sarva Asha Chakudan dilo jai janme janme prabhu se Chakudan dilo jai janme janme prabhu se Divya gyan hriday prakashito Divya gyan hriday prakashito Prema bhakti jaha hoite avidya vinasha jate Prema bhakti jaha hoite avidya vinasha jate Vede gay jahara charito Vede gay jahara charito Shri Guru Karuna Sindhu Adama Jainara Bandhu Shri Guru Karuna Sindhu Adama Jainara Bandhu Shri Guru Karuna Sindhu Adhama Janara Bandhu Lokana Lokera Jivana Lokana Lokera Jivana Aha Prabhu Kodaya Deho More Pada Chaya Aha Prabhu Kuru Aha Prabhu Koro Daya Deho More Pada Chaya Aha Prabhu Koro Daya Deho More Pada Chaya Ebe Jai Gushuk Tribhuvana Ebe Jai Gushuk Tribhuvana Srila Prabhupada Patita Pavana Srila Prabhupada Patita Pavana Srila Gurudev Loyilu Charana Srila Gurudev Loyilu Charana Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Prabhupada Srila Prabhupada Jaya Guru Deva Jaya Guru Deva Guru Deva Srila Guru Deva Nitya Gaura Haribo 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 Nitya Gaura Haribo Nitya Gaura Haribo 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 Nitya Gaura Haribo Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Srila Gurudev ki jai, Shri Guru Vandanam ki jai, Srila Narottam Das Thakur ki jai. Anybody likes to read, please, quickly. This is translation. Nice to meditate in the morning hours. Anybody likes to do it?
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Ramji Prabhu, please go ahead.
Translation. Lotus feet of our spiritual master are the only way by which we can attain pure devotional service. I bow to his lotus feet with great awe and reverence. By his grace, one can cross the ocean of material suffering and obtain the mercy of Krishna. Shall I continue, Prabhu, or you want to give it up?
Continue, Prabhuji. Yes. You can complete it, okay? Completely. Hare
Krishna, Prabhu. Shall I continue, Prabhu? Second
yes,
one.
yes. Yeah, continue, please.
Yeah, my only wish is to have my consciousness purified by the words emanating from his lotus mouth. Attachment to his lotus feet is the perfection that fulfills all desires. He opens my darkened eyes and fills my heart with transcendental knowledge. He is my Lord, birth after birth. From him, ecstatic prema emanates. By him, ignorance is destroyed. The Vedic scriptures sing of his character. Our spiritual master is the ocean of mercy, the friend of the poor, and the Lord and master of the devotees. O Lokanatha Goswami, O master, be merciful unto me. Give me the shade of your lotus feet. Your fame is spread all over the three worlds.
Nice, Prabhu. Thank you, Ramred Prabhu. So this is a prayer in every morning after Darshanarati, Govinda Madhupurusham prayer in our temples. After 7:30, we sing in our temples to remember importance of Guru and following the Guru's instructions, right? Yeah, my only wish is to have my consciousness purified by the words emanating from his lotus mouth. Attachment is lotus feet. He is the perfection that fulfills all desires. Shri Guru, what is that? Srila Guru Devulo Yilu Charana. Unless we surrender to a Guru, I cannot speak. For myself, I'm talking. It's their mercy. It's their mercy. They are enable me to speak whatever they spoken as it is. Thank you very much. Let me do quickly Jaya Radha Madhava, then we'll start. Okay, yeah. Thank you. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Gopi Jana Vallabha गिरिवाराधारी यशोदनन्दना व्रजजनरञ्जना यशोदनन्दना व्रजजनरञ्जना यमुनतीरा वनचारी यमुनतीरा वनचारी जय राधा माधवा कुंजा बिहारी जय गोपी जन वल्लभा गिरिवाराधारी हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Srila Gurudev ki jai. The Jai Radha Madhav also written by Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur. So nicely, actually, each word is nice to meditate. And in our Bhagavatam discourse, as Srila Prabhupada given instruction, we have to sing this Jai Radha Madhava. Yes. Yeah. Thank you very much. Let us begin with Mangalacharana prayers and we'll start. ओम अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपा कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरुं श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरुं वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातां सहगना रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगना ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधो दीनबंधो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कांता राधा कांता नमोस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधार श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे मूकं करोति वाचालं पंगुं लङ्घयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरुं दीनतारिणं परमानन्दमाधवं श्रीचैतन्यमीश्वरम् ओम अपवित्र पवित्रो वा सर्वावस्थं गतोऽपि वा यस्मरेत् पुण्डरीकाक्षं साभ्याभ्यन्तरं शुचिः श्री विष्णु This is the beautiful prayer. Om pavitra pavitro va, whether we are pure or impure, internally externally, but when we associate with the supreme personality of Godhead, Sri Vishnu, none other, Krishna himself, when we associate with Krishna, we become pure both internally externally over time. So wonderful prayer. It's called Vishnu Smarana. In the deity worship, we sing this prayer along with Om Tad Vishnu Paramam Padam. After that, this we will sing. So, okay. So let us start with our Bhagavatam discussion today. So where we left, then we'll continue. First 5-10 minutes, the overview of last week, what exactly we have done. So before that, let me share something here. Yeah, my screen. Yeah, 1 second. Yeah. Yeah, so far, all of our wonderful preachers did all the first canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, all the 19 chapters, so nicely explained. Every preacher nicely prepared, presented here in our group. right? So there are 19 chapters in first canto, entitled as creation, right? All these last 3 months, close to three and a half months, we have done with this, all the 19 chapters of Srimad Bhagavatam, first canto. So last week I started off with Canto 2, Canto 2 of Srimad Bhagavatam, entitled The Cosmic Manifestation. And chapter 1 talks about the first step in God realization. Okay, the first step in God realization. So there are few things which we need to understand from the perspective of the ending of first canto, last chapter. What is that? 19th chapter. So basically, the first canto ended up with two important questions asked by Parikshit Maharaj. That verse in first canto, 19th chapter, 24th verse, right? Tatascha va pracham imam vipruche. We can see that verse. To Sukadeva Goswami after his arrival to the scene. So what is that? First canto, 19 chapter, 24th verse. Okay, 19th chapter. This is the 24th verse. First canto, 19th chapter. Yes. Yeah. Tatascha va pracham imam vipruche. Vishubhya vipra iti kritayadam kritya tayam sarvatmana mriya manaischa krityam shuddham cha tatram sruta bhiyuktaha. Oh, trustworthy Brahmanas, I now ask you about my immediate duty. Please, after proper deliberation, tell me the unalloyed duty of everyone in all circumstances, and specifically of those who are just about to die. These two important questions. Actually, this is ending of the 19th chapter of Srimad Bhagavatam, first canto. What is that? What is the primary duty of everyone in all circumstances? In other way, in all places, circumstances. There are three: desha, kala, mana, paristhitul, right? Time, place, and circumstances. In all circumstances, what is the duty of everyone? The second question talks about what is the specific duty, especially. What is the specific duty? One who is to die in short time, immediate die. For example, Parikshit Maharaj, an example, he is going to die in 7 days because of the curse he got it from Shringi. Right? So, out of the two questions, the second question is very much importance, as is it is relating to the dying man, because everyone is a dying man. How can we understand? Everybody is dying in our body. If you look at our bodies, the body is changing every second. Every second, actually, the scientific proof is there. The cells, every time new bodily organs and new bodily changes happening in our body, right? So dying man, because everyone is a dying man, because, and Bhagavatam says that sunset, sunrise, a person close to death, one sunrise, one sunset, that's in his life. The duration of life of the particular living entity is diminishing by sunrise and sunset. So either very shortly and after some year, after some years, see, in this Kali Yuga, the body destined to live 100 years, to live for 100 years. No guarantee. If a person live for 100 years, no guarantee. At any point of time, he may leave this material world. We never know what kind of body he assumes in his next life, according to his activities, according to his how he put himself in this form, human form. The whole Srimad Bhagavatam is based on two questions from second canto to 12th canto. So answer for these questions is only one, is that devotional service of the Supreme Lord Krishna. So that is there specifically when we look at the this one in the Bhagavatam, second canto, verses 5 to 11 talks about glory of Bhakti Yoga. Better let me share this PDF of Bhagavata Subodhini, so we get a clear picture how these chapters organized. So let me stop share and start share again. Okay, so this is the Bhagavatam. So we all know now The ending of the Bhagavatam first canto, 19th chapter, talks about two things. What is the primary duty of everyone in all circumstances? Second one is immediate duty. A person is going to die sooner than later. So this chapter is so nicely organized. Of course, you all know Gauranga Darshan Prabhu. The second chapter, the second canto, first chapter talks about the first step in God realization. So first to 11 verses, superiority of bhakti. 12 to 14 verses talks about quality, life matters, not the quantity. Yeah. And 15 to 39 talks about Ashtanga Yoga for attaining liberation. Today we'll complete at any cost. I'll be done. I'll be completed all these chapters, some notes. Okay. Yeah. So there is before that, there are one more important point I wanted to share all of you. Live or leave, two things, right? Live, batuku leda vadiles. Live or leave, వెళ్ళిపో అన్నమాట. So first canto ended with Parikshit Maharaj asking this question, what a person is supposed to hear, chant and remember throughout their life, and especially when they are leaving their body. That's we are discussing. So how to live and how to leave. So Sukadeva Goswami starts speaking now. Before answering, he starts appreciating the question. So that means in second canto, he is going to answer in various aspects. The answer to this question will benefit the whole society. So we can do that. So now, art of living and art of dying. Prabhupada writes, our ISKCON is a training institute, right? Educational institute. How to die. Training in the die. No other institute is given this training. How to die in remembrance of Krishna. All of activities center around Krishna. So that is what at the time of death. What is that? Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, Yam yam vapi smaran bhavam tyajate ante kalevaram tam tam yevaiti kauntaya sada tadbhava bhavitaha. Whatever state of being a person remembers at the time of death, he assumes that kind of body. If we understand, if we remember at least Krishna's holy name, if we chant and die, our life successfully guaranteed. We are going back home, back to God. So that will talks about in this chapter. Okay. So in second canto, first chapter, the first step in God realization. These are the sections 1 to 11, superiority of bhakti, 12 to 14, quality of matters, not the quantity. These two sections completed last week. 15 to 39, Ashtanga Yoga for attaining liberation. Okay. So in this, first to 11, some of the points, congratulates Parikshit for the questions. Very, very important questions that will helpful for humanity at large. And second to 4 questions, what shouldn't be heard and remembered? Gruhamedhi life. What is the Gruhamedhi life? Right? You all know. Ahara nidra bhayamaidunamcha samanya metam pashubhina ranam dharmena hino dharmena pashubhi sama dharmon. That's the verse is right. What is that? Eating, sleeping, mating, defending. Materialistic way of life. Gruhamedhi life. Whereas Gruhastha life, we were discussed last week. Krishna center around activities. Perform whatever occupational duties, somebody doctor, engineer, right? Architect, accountant, whatever. Do it as a matter of duty and perform bhakti. That's what Gruhastha devotees perform their all activities center around Krishna. Okay, and 5th verse to 11th verse talks about glory of bhakti yoga. And in this 2 to 4 also mundane topics, very relishable for materialists, right? Mundane, prajalpa. For prajalpa, so nice. Time, they cannot check time. It's going on, speculating, enjoying in those mundane topics. Work during day, sex and sleep during night. Gruhamedhi life descriptions. 4th one talks about faith in fallible soldiers. That's and 5th to 11 verse talks about glory of bhakti yoga. Chanting, hearing and remembering the Lord are the most worthy. 6 to 9 talks about even jnanis, karmis, yogis achieve perfection only by bhakti. Example, many self-realized souls, including Sukadeva Goswami. One beautiful thing is bhakti yoga inclusive of all other three, Ashtanga Yoga, Jnana Yoga, Karma Yoga, in a proper way. We can discuss that. And 12 to 14 talks about quality of life matters, not the quantity, right? Quality. How we usually hear this. How qualitatively we chant. Quality matters. Quantity, it's okay. Initially, it's okay. I did 32 rounds, but how much quality is there? That is what also in every aspect of life. If you look at quality, is very important. Even though somebody chants 3 hours, I see in one of the yoga center. This was 12 years back. One devotee so nicely, each syllable so pronounced nicely. 3 hours in his japa, 16 rounds. So good. How qualitatively he hearing the holy name. That's so nice, right? Of course, there is a time, 8 minutes, 7 minutes. Some devotees take 6 minutes. So that's what important. So quality of life matters, not the quantity. And that one, 12 to 14, that story becomes, right? Katvanga had 1 muhurta, but Parikshit had 7 days. 12 to 14 that we see. And today, in that, yeah. And this one more point. 10 to 11 talks about Hari Namanu Kirtanam is the best. Harer Nama, Harer Nama, Harer Nama iva kevalam. Kalo nasteva, nasteva, nasteva gatiranyata. Kalisantara Upanishad talks about this one, this verse. Harer Nama eva, Harer Nama iva kevalam. So we hear in our ISKCON some hundreds of times, right? Because the importance is that not 100 times, thousands of times. If we hear also, the conclusive point is that chanting the holy names of the Lord is the best possible way of self-realization in this age of Kali. And this one also talks about 10 to 11 verses also talks about Hari Namanu Kirtanam is the best. Abhinnatvam Namanamina. Bhagavatam also says, right? What is the what Bhagavatam talks about? Kali Kalena Namarupa Krishna Avatara. Kali Kalena Namarupa Krishna Avatara. Krishna appeared in this age of Kali as a holy name. Bhagavatam talks about Yajnanam Japa Yajñosmi. I am the Japa. In the Yajñas, I am the sacrifices. I am the Japa Yajña. So 10 to 11 talks about Hari Namanu Kirtan is the best. Today we talks about Ashtanga Yoga. Why Ashtanga Yoga discussed in this chapter? Because not everybody ready to do devotional service. Right? Only fortunate people, they surrender to Krishna. Bahunam Janmanamante Jnanavan Mam Prapadyate Vasudevam Sarvamiti Sa Mahatma Sudurlabaha. Very rare to come to the platform of devotional service. So there are step-by-step process, right? Karma yoga, Jnana yoga, Ashtanga yoga, and ultimately Bhakti yoga. So here in this chapter, see, to know is important. The intricacies, the difficulties of different methods also important. We have to have the knowledge. Okay, and Arjuna also rejected, right? We see in the Bhagavad Gita, Arjuna also rejected this Ashtanga yoga. I cannot focus. My mind is wandering, right? Chanchalam hi mana Krishna. Ashtanga yoga's first point is to control the mind, to link ourselves to the Supreme. How can we do? To control our mind, to control our senses. But in this age of Kali, it's not a proper method. But to understand the knowledge, the intricacies, the difficulties, the process, Sukadeva Goswami and describing all these various Ashtanga yogas. 15 to 39 talks about Ashtanga yoga for attaining liberation. 16 to 19 Ashtanga yoga. 22:1, that is 16 to 19 means the verses. 22 is questions by Parikshit Maharaja. 24 to 39 description of the Virat Rupa Dharanashraya for an attached yogi. In the 22 questions by Parikshit Maharaja, what are the questions? How is Dharana accomplished? What is the bona fide Dharanashrayat? And how to quickly remove contaminations of mind. Yeah. Yes. So let us see today. Okay. So that's the plan. So I wanted to do one time. Om Namo Bhagavate was there. I wanted to choose one verse of this particular chapter and then we'll discuss about the verses. Okay. Let me do this. Okay. Let me start sharing again. Yeah. Right. 15th one. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Antakale tu Purusha Agate Gata Sadvasaha Chindyad Asanga Shastrena Spruham Dehe Nuye Chata. Antakale tu Purusha Agate Gata Sadvasaha Chindyad Asanga Shastrena Spruham Dehe Nuye Chata. Anybody likes to do? Okay, one Mataji, one Prabhuji, please. This is one of the beautiful prayer. Hare Krishna, please help us here. Anybody raise your hand and then please recite this verse, 15th verse.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Go ahead, Mataji.
Yes, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, I have to read translation, Prabhuji.
No, ఒకసారి శ్లోకం చదవండి. ఒక ప్రభు ఒక
Okay.
మాతాజీ నెక్స్ట్ ఇంకో
అంతకాలే తు పురుష అగాతే గత సద్వశః చింత్యాద్ అసంగ శాస్త్రేణ స్పృహం దేహే నుయే చ తమాం.
Thank you. Any Prabhus, please. Hare Krishna. Hari Bol.
Shall I, Prabhu? Yeah.
Go ahead, Prabhu.
Antakale tu purusha agate gata sadvashaha chindyat asanga shastrena spruham dehenu ye chatam. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji. So first one, the first step in the Ashtanga Yogi, what is that? So read anybody, please, translation. Hare Krishna, I am seeing 17 devotees.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Can I read translation?
Yes, please go ahead, Mataji.
At the last stage of one's life, one should be whole enough not to be afraid of death, but one must cut off all attachment to the material body and everything pertaining to it and all desires thereof. Hare Krishna.
Yes. So that is what first step talks about. A person on this path. What is that path? Ashtanga Yoga for attaining liberation. That this one, right? 15 to 39 verses talks about. So on this path, being free from fear of death, must cut off all his material desires with the weapon of detachment. Asanga Shastrena. Right? In our devotional life also, we keep different material association. Before coming to Krishna consciousness, we have different friends, school friends, college friends, social friends, etc. Social life is there. But when we come to the platform of bhakti, we just away from that, because that is required in the path of devotion. Asanga Shastrena. Sadhu Sangha, Sadhu Sangha, Sadhu. Opposite to Asanga Shastrena is Sadhu Sangha, Sadhu Sangha, Sadhu Sangha hoy. Lavamatra Sadhu Sangha, Sarva Siddhi hoy. We have to associate like-minded. That's where, devotees are like-minded. All are practicing the same path. All of our goal is to go back to God, isn't it? That's the thing. So first step, it's talking about, right? At last stage of one's life, one should be bold enough not to be afraid of death. But one must cut off all attachment to the material body and everything pertaining to it, all desires thereof. So Prabhupada writes section, but I'm not going there. In 16th verse talks about, yeah, actually I want to open this way. 1 second. Direct translation. Yeah, 16th one also you can go ahead, Mataji. Meeru పని చేయండి మాధవి, 19 వరకు చదవండి, సరేనా మాధవి?
Yes, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. ఈ హైలైట్ చేసి చదవమంటారు ప్రభు. టెక్స్ట్ 16 నుంచి. Text 16. One should leave home and practice self-control. In a sacred place, he should bath regularly and sit down in a lonely place duly sanctified. Text 17. After sitting in the above manner, Make the mind remember the 3 transcendental letters Om. And by regulating the breathing process, control the mind so as not to forget the transcendental seed. Text 18. Gradually, as the mind becomes progressively spiritualized, withdraw it from sense activities. And by intelligence, the senses will be controlled. The mind, too absorbed in material activities, can be engaged in the service of the personality of Godhead and become fixed in full transcendental consciousness. Text 19. Therefore, you should meditate upon the limbs of Vishnu, one after another, without being deviated from the conception of the complete body. Thus, the mind becomes free from all sense objects. There should be no other thing to be thought upon. Because the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Vishnu, is the ultimate truth, the mind becomes completely reconciled in Him only. Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji. So let us read some content of this book also. Let me share in connection with that points. Just now you read, Mataji. So that 15 to 39 talks about Ashtanga Yoga for liberation. Okay, and the 15th one talks about, just now we have gone through it, being free from the fear of death, must cut off all material desires with the weapon of detachment. 16th one talks about there are Ashtanga Yoga system, right? Yama, Niyama, Pranayama, Pratyahara, Dharana, Dhyana, Samadhi. 3, total 8. Ashtanga Yoga. Yama, Niyama, Asana 16 verse talks about leave home, practice self-control, bathe regularly at a sacred place, sit down in a secluded and sanctified place. So these are the descriptions of the Ashtanga Yogi, how he practice. Then 17th verse talks about pranayama, remember Om and regulate breathing, breathing exercise, right? Pranayama. Pratyahara talks withdraw the mind from the sense activities. The 18th verse talks about dharana, fix the mind with intelligence on the Lord's form. Dharana. And dhyana, meditate on each limb of Lord without deviating from the conception of the whole body of Lord. And samadhi, completely reconcile the mind on Vishnu without any other thought. Dhyana, dharana. And 20 to 21. What is 20 to 21? So let me share here. 20 to 21 talks, one's mind is always agitated by the passionate mode of material nature and bewildered by the ignorant mode of nature. But one can rectify such conceptions by the relation of Vishnu and thus become pacified by cleansing the dirty things created by them. Text 21. O king, by the system of remembrance and by being fixed in the habit of seeing the all good personal conception of the Lord, one can very soon attain devotional service to the Lord under his direct shelter. So 2021 talks about dharana. How can we do that? So if you see here, 2021 dharana destroys the contamination of the mind, which is agitated, akshiptam by rajas and bewildered, vimudham by tamas. Rajo, tama, agunalu anedi, we all know 3 modes of material nature, how it acts upon living entity. We see there is a particular chapter in the Bhagavad Gita, I think 14th chapter, modes of material nature. Modes of material nature. Very detailedly talks about different things, right? Mode of ignorance, mode of passion, mode of goodness, right? How a mode of goodness people eat, how a mode of passionate people eat, and all the things, austerity, and then different
Charity.
things, charity, yes, yeah. All these things described in the Bhagavad Gita 14th chapter. So that's where the contamination means contamination of our mind with these 3 modes. Sometimes we act in passionately, sometimes we act in ignorant way, sometimes both mixed, passionate and ignorant. It's bewilderment. Modes, 3 modes of material nature only. That's the binding, and that's the thing. In the material nature means it's a made up of 3 modes. The yogi who sees the Lord Paramatma through such dharana quickly achieves his desired goal of liberation. This is yoga which has qualities of bhakti. That is bhakti mishra yoga. We have to understand. And Krishna has given the solution in Bhagavad Gita also. 14.26 Mamshayo abhicharena bhakti yogena sivate sagunan samati ityaitan brahma bhuyaya kalpate. That means one has to perform bhakti in order to go beyond the three modes situated in Shuddha Sattva. When we adopt the Bhakti Yoga principles, we will be there. We are acting on the pure goodness, because when we chant, when we hear, these are all untouched, these qualities. All these Krishna related activities, the name, form, paraphernalia, Nama, Rupa, Guna, Leela, Dhama, these are all untouchable with these three modes, because these are all situated beyond the three modes. That's where the Bhakti Yoga points out. Bhakti Yoga given the solution to go beyond these three modes by remembering, Nama, Rupa, Guna, Leela, Dham. So again, so let us see another. The 22 talks about three questions by Parikshit, 22 verse. So what exactly that verse talks about? Let me see. 22nd verse. The fortunate king. Any Lavanya, you want to read? Can you go ahead?
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Yeah, Text 22. The fortunate King Parikshit, inquiring further, said, O Brahmana, please describe in full detail how and where the mind has to be applied and how the conception can be fixed so that the dirty things in a person's mind can be removed. Dharanash. How can we meditate?
Yes, there is a 22. So that answer given in 23. So this one, you can go ahead.
So answer is in 23. Sukadeva Goswami answer. Yeah. Question is how to fix the mind. Yeah.
Dharana accomplished. That means that's fixing our mind on Supreme. Yes, go ahead.
Sukadeva Goswami answered. One should control the sitting posture, regulate the breathing process by the yogic pranayama, and thus control the mind and senses, and with intelligence apply the mind to the gross potencies of the Lord, called Virat Rupa.
Yes. And question 2, we will discuss what is a bona fide dharana ashraya, object of meditation. That talks about 24 to 25. Please go ahead. There is questions. Read, please.
This gigantic manifestation of the phenomenal material world as a whole is the personal body of the absolute truth, wherein the universe resultant past, present, and future of material time is experienced. Text 25th. The gigantic universal form of the Supreme Personality of Godhead within the body of the universal shell, which is covered by sevenfold material elements, is a subject for the Virat conception.
Yeah. Right. So, Parikshit Maharaj, these three questions. How is dharana is accomplished? What is bona fide dharana ashraya, object of meditation? And how quickly remove the mind's contaminations? So how dharana is accomplished? 23 verse talks about. Because, see, one should control the sitting posture, regulate breathing process by the yogic pranayama, and thus control the mind and senses, and with intelligence apply the mind to the gross potencies of Lord called Virata Rupa. That's dharana. In one of the limb of Ashtanga Yogi, right? Dharana, dhyana. That's the thing. Dharana means fix the mind with intelligence on the Lord's form. The second question, what is a bona fide dharana ashraya? So 24-25 verse talks about the gigantic manifestation of the phenomenal material world as a whole. Virat Rupa, they meditate upon, how, this universal form, how this Krishna created all this manifestation. This gigantic manifestation of the phenomenal material world as a whole is a personal body of the absolute truth, wherein the universal resultant in past, present, future of material time is experienced. The time, kala, right? Bhagavad Gita talks about five things. What are they? Ishvara, Jiva, Prakriti, Kala, Karma. Kala is auto eternal. All four are eternal in the Bhagavad Gita, right? Ishvara, Prakriti, Jiva, Ishvara, Jiva, Prakriti, Kala, Karma. Four are eternal. Karma is not eternal. Karma can be changed. Right? The karma, the destiny, we can change our destiny by adopting your Bhakti Yoga practice. So these are the material, is a universal form. These are the creations of the Krishna. Right. So here note point, Parikshit Maharaj asked about Bhakti Mishra Yoga out of curiosity and certainly not because he wanted to practice it. So 23, answer to question on accomplishing dharana. After perfecting the preliminary limbs of Ashtanga Yoga. What is the preliminary limbs of Ashtanga Yoga? What are the preliminary limbs of Ashtanga Yoga?
Yama, Niyama, Asana, Pratyahara.
Yes. Let me share now. Why do we? So these are the Ashtanga Yogas. Yama, Niyama, Asana, Pranayama, Pratyahara, Dharana, Dhyana, Samadhi. Okay. So I'm just reading here. Answer to question 1, accomplishing Dharana. After perfecting the preliminary limbs of Ashtanga Yoga and up to Pratyahara, one can meditate on the Lord, Dharana. And 24-25, the question 2. What is the bona fide Dharana Ashraya? And which form? Ashraya means which one I have to meditate, and which object one has to meditate. When a yogi adopts the Ashtanga Yoga system. 24-25 question talks about an answer to question Dharana Ashraya of neophyte or attached yogi. One should meditate on the gigantic Virat Rupa, Dharana Ashraya, the gross material form of the Lord within the universal shell made of 7 layers. 7 layers, okay. So here, for those yogi, anybody likes to read? I'm reading myself only. Can anybody like to read? It's a wonderful book.
Hare
These
Krishna.
are Bodhini books. Okay, go ahead.
For those yogis who cannot concentrate on the spiritual form of the Paramatma, mentioned in 2.1.21, this meditation on the Virata Rupa universal form for removing continued attraction and repulsion is described. Dharana on Virata Rupa is meditation on visible material objects which infer the presence of the Lord, while Dharana or Paramatma is meditation on the form of the super soul in the heart. Hare Krishna.
Yeah. So those yogis who cannot concentrate on the spiritual form of the Paramatma. That's said in 21 verse. Their meditation on the Virat Rupa universal form for removing continued attraction and repulsion is described. And the Dharana on Virat Rupa is meditation on visible material objects which infer the presence of the Lord. While Dharana on Paramatma is meditation on the form of super soul in the heart. Now Sukadeva Goswami talks about various limbs of Virat Rupa, the Dharana Ashraya of a neophyte yogi who is still influenced by the modes. So it's a wonderful to know these points. Sukadeva Goswami describing the various limbs of Virat Rupa, how the Virat Rupa look like. And what is the exactly we are discussing about the Dharana Ashraya, the neophyte yogi who is performing this one, the meditating upon the gigantic universal form, how it looks like. Right? The Dharana Ashraya is like this, the limbs of Virat Rupa. The neophyte yogi who is still influenced by the modes, again, acting under the modes only. If you see 26 to 28 verses, 26 to 28 verses, okay. First, let us read the translations and then we'll come back here this table. Yeah, I'll ask names so that please read. Hare Krishna, Saraswati Mataji, you are there? Vani Mataji, would you like to read, please? Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna.
Shall I read?
Yes, Mataji. Padma Mataji, please read.
26, not 26.
26 to 28. And this one specially talks about the Dharanashraya. The Dharanashraya on which form they meditate. That is called in a Virat Rupa form. So you can read, Mataji.
Text 26. Persons who have realized it have studied that the planets known as Patala constitute the bottoms of the feet of the universal Lord, and the heels and the toes are the Rasatala planets. The ankles are the Mahatala planets, and his shanks constitute the Talatala planets. 27. The knees of the universal form are the planetary system of the name of Sutala, and the 2 thighs are the Vitala and Atala planetary systems. The hips are Mahatala, Mahitala, and outer space is the depression of his navel. Text 28. The chest of the original personality of the gigantic form is the luminary planetary system. His neck is the Mahar planets, his mouth is the Janas planets, and his forehead is the Tapas planetary systems. The topmost planetary system, known as Satyaloka, is the head of he who has 1,000 heads. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna. So let us see the table, how nicely presented here. Same verses only. So there are 14 planetary systems, right? What are the 14 planetary systems? So this one, you see, right? From the Bhur Loka, Bhur, Bhuvar, Mahatala. See, Atala, Vitala, Talatala, Mahatala, 14 planetary systems we have, right? So from earthly planet, above 6 and below 7, total 14, including Earth. So that's what the meditation, object of meditation, Dharanashraya for the Virat Rupa of the Ashtanga Yogi. They meditate slowly like that, they meditate like that. So anybody likes to read this same verse only, but putting in the table format to understand. Okay. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yeah, I'm asking about other devotees also, Mata. You can read
Oh,
anyway.
okay, Prabhu.
Ravish
Hare Krishna,
Prabhu,
Prabhuji.
Praveen Prabhu,
Shall I
Vani
read it,
Mata,
Prabhuji?
Gaurav Prabhu, you can read now. Saraswati Mataji, Sapan Prabhu. So let us focus, please. Hare Krishna. Go ahead.
Okay, Prabhuji. Now Sukdev Goswami describes the various limbs of the Virat Rupa. The Dharnas, very small, Prabhuji. The Dharnasya of a neophyte yogi who is still influenced by the modes. Prabhuji.
Read it. Yes.
Okay, Prabhuji. Patala, bottoms of the feet. Rasatala, heels and toes. Mahatala, ankles. Talatala, calves, sunks. Sutala, knees. Bitala, lower part of two thighs. Atala, upper part of two thighs. Mahatala, earth, hips. Bhuvar, outer space, navel. Swarga, chest. Maharloka, neck. Janaloka, mouth, face. Tapoloka, forehead. Satyaloka, head. A similar description of 1.5, 38 to 41.
Second canto, fifth
Down
chapter. Yeah. Second canto, fifth chapter also, similar descriptions found.
38 and 41 text.
Yes, Prabhu. Thank you. So this is what their Dharanashraya of Virat Rupa, the 14 planetary systems, how these Supreme Personality of God, its limbs expanded like that. Okay, now this is the big section, 29 to 37, further representation of limbs and acts of Virat Rupa. So 29 to 37, let us read translations only. There are Prabhupada described so nicely, but due to time, let us just review the main points there. Okay, from 29 to 37. So I'll ask some devotee. Lavish Prabhu, can you please read some of these translations?
Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranam Prabhuji. Text 29. His arms are the demigods headed by Indra. The 10 directional sides are his ears, and physical sound is his sense of hearing. His nostrils are the 2 Ashwini Kumaras, and material fragrance is his sense of smell. His mouth is the blazing fire. Text 30. The sphere of outer space constitutes his eye pits, and the eyeball is the sun as the power of seeing. His eyelids are both the day and night, and in the movements of his eyebrows, Brahma and similar supreme personalities reside. His palate is the director of water, Varuna, and the juice or essence of everything is his tongue. Text 31. They say that the Vedic hymns are the cerebral passage of the Lord, and his jaws of teeth are Yama, god of death, who punishes the sinners. The art of affection is his set of teeth, and the most alluring illusionary material energy is his mind. This great ocean of material creation is but the casting of his glance over us. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Another 6 verses there to talks about further expansions of the Virat Rupa. So, anybody likes to read 32, 33, 34? Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, can I read?
Yeah, Praveen Prabhu, please read.
Hare Krishna. Which one? 33, 34, 35, 32, 33, 34.
Yeah, 2, 3, 4, Prabhu.
Okay, Hare Krishna. Dhanapad. That is text 32. Mostly is the upper portion of his lips, hankering is his chin, religion is the breast of the Lord, and irreligion is his back. Brahmaji, who generates all living beings in the material world, is his genitals, and the Mitra Varunas are his 2 testicles. The ocean is his waist, and the hills and mountains are his stacks of his bones. Text 33. O king, the rivers are the veins of the gigantic body, the trees are the hairs of his body, and the omnipotent air is his breath. The passing ages are his movements, and his activities are the reactions of the 3 modes of material nature. Text 34. O best among Kurus, the clouds which carry water are the hairs on his head. The terminations of days or nights are his dress, and the supreme cause of material creation is his intelligence. His mind is the moon, the reservoir of all changes.
Thank you, Prabhuji. So another 3 verses to talks about the Virat Rupa. So let us see. Anybody likes to read Hare Krishna?
I can read, Prabhuji.
Yeah, Tapan Prabhu, kindly go ahead.
Yeah. The principle of matter, Mahatattva, is the consciousness of the omnipresent Lord, as asserted by the experts. And Rudradeva is his ego. The horse, mule, camel, and elephant are his nails. The wild animals and all quadrupeds are situated in the belt zone of the Lord. Varieties of birds are indications of his masterful artistic sense. Manu, the father of mankind, is the emblem of his standard intelligence, and humanity is his residence. The celestial species of human beings like the Gandharvas, Vidyadharas, Charanas, and angels all represent his musical rhythm, and the demonic soldiers are representations of his wonderful prowess. The Virata Purusha's face is the Brahmanas. His arms are the Kshatriyas, his thighs are the Vaishyas, and the Shudras are under the protection of his feet. All the worshipable demigods are also overtaken by him, and it is the duty of everyone to perform sacrifices with feasible goods to appease the Lord. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So, it in easy format, we have study book. Let me share, and again we'll understand how further explanation of the Virat Rupa, right? Further representation of limbs of acts of Virat Rupa. So his arms, demigods headed by Indra. So this, see, entire, when we understand this verse from Bhagavad Gita, Aham Sarvasya Prabhavo Matta Sarvam Pravartate. Aham Sarvasya. Sarvasya means Prabhupada writes all spiritual and material worlds. This Virat Rupa talks about the gigantic universal form of the Supreme Lord. How he's expanded, how in his person form looks like in Virat Rupa. And these Ashtanga yogis meditating upon this Dharanashtaya. That's where, Virat Rupa was.
Prabhuji, sorry to interrupt. Prabhuji, is this Virata Rupa is similar to the Vishwarupa, what Krishna showed to Arjuna, or the different, Prabhu?
That is similar. Yes, Prabhu.
Okay, Prabhu, thank you.
This is more elaborations. This is descriptions of the Supreme Lord only. But in the material creation, how he looks like. Okay, so yeah. I'm requesting, all of the questions at the end of the call, we will discuss. Last time also, it went, I couldn't complete that way. So let us discuss, Prabhu, whatever questions. But that's the thing. So that's where, Arjuna, behold that Vishwarupa. I cannot, what's going on here? He cannot meditate upon. That's where he rejected, Ashtanga Yoga is rejected in the Bhagavad Gita, rejected by Arjuna. But this is for knowledge purpose, how the Ashtanga yogis, they meditate upon the gigantic Dharanashraya, Virat Rupa form of the Supreme Lord. Okay, yeah. So 29, arms, ears, organ of hearing, subtle ears, nostrils, grass nostrils, organ for smelling, subtle nostrils, mouth, right? Representations. Demigods headed by Indra, arms, ears, Digdevatas, and organ for hearing of Jivas, organ of hearing, subtle ears, sound, the sound, right? Sounds, function is to hear. Nostril, grass nostrils, Aswini Kumaras, and organ for smelling of Jivas. organ for smelling, subtle nostrils, fragrance, mouth, blazing fire, eye pits, outer space, form, eyeballs, sun, eyelids, day and night, movement of eyebrows, abode of Brahma, palate, Varuna, tongue, taste, juice of everything, cerebral passage, Vedic hymns, jaws of teeth, Yama, 2 rows of teeth, art of affection, smile, Maya, glance, Samsara, upper portion of tip, modesty, chin, hankering, breast, religion, back, irreligion, genitals, Brahma, testicles, Mitra and Varuna, waist, abdomen, ocean, stacks of bones, hills and mountains, veins, rivers, hairs, trees, breath, wind with the prowess of Ananta Sesha. His movement / walking, passing ages / time. His activities, reactions of 3 material modes. Hair on head, clouds, dress, twilight. Intelligence, prime cause of material creation, pradhana. Mind, moon, the reservoir of all changes. Consciousness, chitta, mahattattva. Ego, Rudradeva. Nails, horse, mule, camel and elephant. Hips, wild animals and all quadrupeds. 36, masterful artistic sense, birds. Deliberating intelligence, Manu. Residence, humanity. Musical ability, rhythm, Gandharvas, Vidyadharas, Charanas, Apsaras. Prowess, demoniac soldiers. Face, Brahmanas. See, we see that, Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra. Brahmanas represents Supreme Personality of Godhead. Face, Kshatriyas is arms, Vaishyas is thighs, Shudras is feet. Prescribed duties, sacrifices with ingredients and devatas. Note point is mentioned here. This also found in 5th chapter of 2nd canto. 37 verse also talks about. So to understand, the limbs, acts of Virat Rupa, that's where the Ashtanga yogis meditate upon. So so elaborately described, how the gigantic form of Supreme Lord looks like with the body of, yes. Yeah. So this one, so that's where this is for knowledge. So because these Ashtanga yogis, they wanted to perform these kind of tapasya to understand Krishna in this gigantic way and meditating upon Supreme Lord in that way. Virat Rupa, Dharanashraya, their Dharanashraya. So first we see, right, Angas, Ashtanga yogi, right? Ashtanga yogi, right? And in that Dharana, fix the mind with intelligence on the Lord's form. So all the descriptions we see, the Lord's form, Virat Rupa. So actually there are 2 more verses of this chapter, and then I will overview of the entire thing. Okay, so 38, 39. Anybody who have not read, can you please read 38, 39 of this chapter? Hare Krishna. Akincham Priya Prabhu. Razu Prabhu. Tulasi Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Driving, sorry to interrupt. Okay, so at least whoever will be able to read, this is the done with the chapter 1 of 2nd canto. And
Yes, Prabhuji, I can do, Prabhuji.
Yeah, please read 38, 39. You are able to see, actually.
Yes, Prabhuji.
You are able to see browser, right?
No, now it gone, Prabhuji.
Yeah, now you can see.
Yeah.
Yes.
Text 38, right, Prabhuji? Text 38.
38 and 39, both.
Yeah. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. I have thus explained to you the gross material gigantic conception of the personality of Godhead. One who seriously desires liberation concentrates his mind on his form of the Lord, because there is nothing more than this in this material world. Text 39. One should concentrate his mind upon the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who alone distributes himself in so many manifestations, just as ordinary persons creates thousands of manifestations. One must concentrate the mind on him, the only all blissful absolute truth. Otherwise, one will be misled and will cause his own degradation. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Yes, Mataji, thank you. So now, this last points talks about, thus I have described. Who is describing here? Quickly, anybody? Who is describing all these things to Parikshit Maharaj?
Sukdev Goswami.
Silly question, huh? Sorry. just to check. Haribol. Yes. So thus I have described the Virat Rupa, which is the bona fide Dharanashraya. It's their bona fide system of who? To whom? To whom? The attached yogi, Ashtanga yogi, the neophyte stage of attached yogi, desiring for liberation. Meditating on any other form will cause its degradation. So their understanding, is kind of limited only. I mean, they won't be able to meditate upon the Shyam Sundar as devotees meditate upon the Tribhanga form of Supreme Lord. This is their object of meditation, Virat Rupa. That way, these all the Ashtanga yogic processes are there. Right? What are the Ashtanga yogic processes? Yeah, we have seen that Yama, Niyama, Asana, Pranayama, Pratyahara, Dharana, Dhyana, Samadhi. I wanted to share one slide. Let us see what exactly, just to talk about a few things. Right. So are you able to see this one?
Yes, sir.
One pick.
Yes.
Yes. So this is what is exactly talks about the Ashtanga yogi only, right? Dharana, Dhyana. What talks about Dharana, concentration, Pratyahara, withdrawal of senses, Pranayama, breath control, Asana, posture, meditation, Niyama, internal disciplines, Yama, external disciplines, Samadhi, union, integration. So some points actually. When Jnana Yoga increases in meditation on the super soul by different physical processes, and the mind is on him, it is called Ashtanga Yoga. That's where Prabhupada's purports in the Bhagavad Gita. Gita 6.47 purport. What he says, Srila Prabhupada, our founder Acharya, when Jnana Yoga increases in meditation on the super soul by different physical processes, and the mind is on him, it is called Ashtanga Yoga. Another purport, what is saying from Bhagavatam, 2nd canto, 5th chapter, 16th verse. Ashtanga Yoga is a practice in concentrating the mind, releasing oneself from all engagements by the regulative process of meditation, concentration, sitting postures, blocking the movements of the internal calculation of air, etc. Let us see. The Ashtanga Yoga system is a materialistic art of controlling air by transferring it from the stomach to the navel, from the navel to the heart, and from the heart to the collarbone, from there to the eyeballs, and from there to the cerebellum, and from there to any desired planets. Why? See, Ashtanga Yoga is, that's why this is also, it's not complete. This is not a perfect yoga system. Even though it's given, descriptions given, some yogis practicing in this way, but ultimately, if you see this understanding, what they are going to do, they wanted to travel different planetary systems. They wanted to enjoy. That's again, materialistic way only. That is not a perfectional stage. This is just again, he got the siddhis, right? Of course, siddhis also we have seen, right? Yeah, siddhis, yes, Ashta Siddhis. Actually, there is one song I'm remembering. Ashta Siddhi Navani. Actually, that is one prayer is there.
Siddhi Navanidhi ke data Anjani.
Ashta Navani ke data Asura Varadi. Forgot actually. Tulsi Das.
Janaki Mata.
Ashta Siddhi means that one. So those are also given by Krishna only, the Siddhis, according to these Ashtanga Yogi performs. So, but this is what the system is. See how they're controlling air by transferring it from the stomach to the navel part, and from navel to heart, from the heart to collarbone, from there to eyeballs, and from there to the cerebellum, and from there to any desired planet. The Ashtanga Yoga system is a materialistic art of materialistic. Srila Prabhupada writes this. Again, it's materialistic only. See, what is the purpose? After siddhis, what are you going to do? Some, to show powers, to show something, you got the powers, and that is for using for material benefit only, not for the ultimate things. Yama, niyama, do's and don'ts. Asana, sitting exercise. Pranayama, controlling breath. Pratyahara, trying to control mind from so many distractions. Dharana, meditation. Dhyana, deeper in meditation. And samadhi. Dharana, ashraya is a universal form. That's where we are discussing. That's where the limbs we have seen. That's where how the gigantic form described in the Bhagavatam. Dharana, ashraya is universal form. The universe which is imagined to be form of Supreme Lord. See, it's an imagination in the material body, in the material gigantic body of Supreme Lord. Right? That is it is imagined to be form of Supreme Lord, but it is not Supreme Lord form. Supreme Lord form is Tribhanga. Devotees always look for personal feature of Supreme Lord. He is just like human being. It's just like with us. Right? Shama Sundara Tribhanga form. Right? Brahma, after Brahma Vimochana Leela, he describes so nicely how he looks like, what he is holding. Personal feature. It's some kind of impersonalistic way, actually. This, the Ashtanga Yogi and their Virat Rupa form, this means kind of, different material elements they are meditating. Of course, it's Krishna's body only, but it's a different limbs, different parts of the Supreme Lord. Yeah, so right. Brahma's prayer is that there is one verse, I forgot, the Navamidhyate Brahmavipuse Tadidambaraya, how he looks like. The personal feature. That's where, devotees, why devotee, and again, why Bhakti Yoga is so easy? Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, Tasyaham Sulabha Partha. If a devotee surrendered to me, meditating upon personal feature, personal form, I am with them, and he never lost to me, I never lost to him. Tasyaham Sulabha Partha. I am easily available for a devotee. But then why this knowledge is given? Because not everybody is ready to take up the Bhakti Yoga process. Krishna himself says that, Bahunam Janmanamante Jnanavan Mam Prapadyate. We all know that verse. After many births, after different practices. So again, one has to come back to material world, and again one has to practice bhakti. Then only he is eligible, is come back to prerequisites of the bhakti, to surrender to Krishna, perform devotional service, seva, devotional service. Prabhupada writes, it's not just bhakti, bhakti yukta seva, devotional service. So that's the thing. But we have to understand the knowledge, how these Ashtanga yogis and how they meditate upon this Supreme Personality of Godhead form in materialistic way with the material elements and different planetary systems. Right? We have seen 14 planetary systems, and each planetary system represents some some demigod, some etc. in his creation representing. If still distracted, at least focus on universal form. No attachment, and you are very detached for your dharana, ashraya will be Supreme Lord, Paramatma, form of the Lord. How can we understand this? No attachment, and you are very detached, then your dharana ashraya will be Supreme Lord, Paramatma, the form of the Lord. It's a expansion, right? We have Brahmeti, Paramatmeti, Bhagavan iti shabde. Brahmeti, Paramatmeti, Bhagavan iti shabde. 3 kinds of realizations. A absolute truth can be understood in 3 formats. What are the 3 formats? Brahmajyoti platform, localized Paramatma, and then Supreme Personality of Godhead himself. Prabhupada writes many times the same example. Sunshine, sun planet, and sun god. Sunshine is equals to Brahman realization, Brahmajyoti platform, and everything comes from Krishna. Brahmajyoti is from Krishna's body only, right? If you understand the same verse, Aham Sarvasya Prabhavo, everything comes from me. That means that Brahmajyoti also comes from him. But the meditation, the object of meditation is different according to persons, take up. So sunshine is equals to Brahman realization. Brahmajyoti platform. Then sun planet, that's a localized, pervading form of super soul. The entire sun planet, different living entities, in each living entity, Chara Achara, of course. See, Krishna situated as a super soul, Paramatma, 400 form. And then Bhagavan realization is the Supreme Lord himself, Sun God, right? Bhagavan. Brahmeti, Paramatmeti, Bhagavan iti Shabde. That's we have to understand. And here, these no attachment, and very good point here, no attachment, and you are very detached, then your Dharana Shreya will be Supreme Lord, Paramatma, the form of the Lord. Right? 400 form. Shankha Chakra Kamala Gadadhara. Shankha Chakra Kamala Gadadhara. 400. Paramatma, how he looks like Paramatma? There is one book in our, ISKCON, The Science of Self-Realization. Book name is The Science of Self-Realization. It has the picture of Shankha Chakra Kamala Gadadhara, the super soul form. And it is there in every body. Chara Chara actually is there in everywhere. That's the thing. So, okay. So this one wanted to share, and I wanted to share a few more points. So we have discussed last week. About the importance. What is that importance? Two kinds of pastimes we heard. What is that? The 12 chart, 12 to 14 verses talks about quality of life matters, not the quantity. Two examples: Kartvanga Maharaja and Parikshit Maharaj, because they got to know when they are gonna die. But we, as the conditioned living entities, we never know. And we have seen in real world, in this world, many examples actually. Every minute there are so many people are dying. In the calculations of the world, we see death may come, death may knock the door at any point. We never know. At least they are fortunate. They got to know, oh yes, I am going to die in 7 days. So let us meditate upon completely. So what is the beneficial for me in these last minutes, and those last 7 days, in those last one muhurta, or 12 minutes or 48 minutes, whatever time frame that Kartvanda Maharaj has got the benediction. He performed bhakti, meditated upon Supreme Lord, and going back home, back to God. But we never know. That's why human life is very serious business. Durlabha Manusha Janma. Durlabha Manusha Janma. Who said this? Prahlad Maharaj said. It's a 5-year-old boy. Krishna is giving different teachings from different pastimes. Dhruva Maharaja, Prahlad Maharaja, Kunti Devi, Uddhava, Gopis, Gajendra. To understand what exactly, we have very short life in the material world, in this especially Kali Yuga. There is a destination, there is a described 100 years of life in the Kali Yuga, right? That's where as per the Yuga, the time frame of a Jiva, living entity, is given by, based on that. 100 years also not guaranteed. Nobody, very rare, very less people lives 100 years, 100 plus years. But most of the people die at any point. Some may die 5 years, some may die in mother's womb, some may die after 50 years, at the young age, 16 years. So that death is going to knock at any point of time. So we have to use our intelligence to serve the Lord. How can we use the intelligence? Yeah, that is the question. How can we use our intelligence? So we come to the platform of devotional service. Somehow or other, some devotees prayed for us. Somehow or other, we connected with ISKCON, Srila Prabhupada. Wonderful thing, actually. It's a very fortunate thing. We come under the bona fide Guru Sishya Sampradaya, Brahma Madhva Gaudiya Vaishnava Sampradaya. So the knowledge which we receive here is perfect. We don't need to refer any other books. Of course, there are different versions there, but that's doomed. Nothing, not much beneficial to the person. Just, Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, who comes under in the parampara, those two books are enough to realize God and go back home, back to God. There are many verses what Krishna is expecting from us. Of course, Krishna also, see, these are all teachings, Krishna is given all these Ashtanga Yoga also, Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga, Ashtanga Yoga, and ultimately Bhakti Yoga is given. And what he is expecting from us? The 66th chapter, 47 verse. Yogi nam api sarvesham adgater antaratmana shraddhavan bhajate yomam same yukta tamomataha. Whoever meditate upon me as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, okay, same yukta tamomataha. Yogi nam api sarvesham, of all yogis. That's a beautiful verse we all know, right? And many verses it talks about bhakti, right? We all know Chatusloki Bhagavad Gita 10.8, 9, 10, 11, right? So bhakti yoga is the topmost. That's where elevator process. Many times we discussed. It's an elevator process. We just click the button, it opens elevator. We just get entered. Let's go top 100 floors. Not going through step by step, like karma yoga, jnana yoga, ashtanga yoga. No, we have very limited time. We just bhakti yoga is the elevator. Prabhupada, see, these are the terminologies our founder Acharya giving in his books to understand these concepts so easily, so nicely. Bhakti yoga is the elevator process, his writings. So we have to use this opportunity, to serve Supreme Lord. And ultimately, at the end of life, Krishna is going to take care of us. So see, we have to show our love, sincerity towards Krishna and his devotees and perform bhakti yoga. At the end of life, even though due to bodily discomfort, we won't remember Krishna, Krishna is going to remember us. Because the whole life molded such a way that remembering Krishna always and never forgets him. That way he is looking at. We just have to show our sincerity towards the path of bhakti, and love him, serve his devotees, associating. And we have process already there, ABCD, you all know. ABCD of bhakti. So that's what it is. So ultimately in this chapter, we take home point is to understand this knowledge, how the Ashtanga yogis, how the gigantic bodies look like, Virat Rupa, how these Ashtanga yogis meditate upon the Dharana Shaya, and what are those two pastimes, why have us given, why bhakti is so blissful. Bhakti yoga is the topmost yoga. Why? All this is covered in this chapter. Okay. So just want to share, and I have some more point. Let me see. If I miss anything, then we'll wrap up. Okay. I want to share this one important slide. Yes. Yeah. Glorify, remember. To glorify what? We see in the second canto, second chapter, 36 verse in coming, and maybe next week some other devotee picks up for review. We see this 36 verse. What is this bhakti? Tasma sarvatma rajan hari sarvatra sarvada shrotavya kirtitavyasya smrutyavyo bhagavan runam. So beautiful verse actually. Here glorify, remember. This is the sign, no? Here glorify and remember. Bhakti yoga talks about these three things only. Tasma, therefore, sarvatmana rajan parikshit raja, sarvatma rajan parikshit maharaja, hari sarvatra, all places, sarvada, at all times, shrotavya kirtitavyascha smrutavyo bhagavan ranam. O king, it is therefore essential that every human being hear about, glorify and remember the Supreme Lord, the personality of Godhead, always and everywhere. That's where only prayer, we have to remember. Only prayer. What is that? Only prayer. We just have to remember this statement always. Always remember Krishna. Please, Krishna, don't put me into your forgetfulness. The problem is forgetfulness. Why are we suffering? Forgetfulness of God, forgetfulness of Supreme Lord, forgetfulness of our identity, forgetfulness of our purpose, forgetfulness of our, forgetfulness. The problem is forgetfulness. That's where the sufferings and the conditionings. That's where we have to remember, we have to glorify, and we have to hear. First hear, then glorify, and then remember. How can we remember? By saying this pastime, by discussing Machitta Madgata Prana, Bodhayanta Parasparam, Katayanta Shamam Nityam, Tushyanti Charamanticha. Bhagavad Gita 10.9. Chatusloki Bhagavad Gita. Machitta Madgata Prana. Parasparam. Discussing about the pastimes. When we discuss, we remember. We understand at least. That's the thing. So this is a beautiful prayer. O King, therefore, essential that every human being hear about, glorify, remember the Supreme Lord, the personality of God, always and everywhere, in all circumstances. That is the primary duty. We never know when we are going to die. Every sunset, every sunrise, we are one day closer to death. We have to understand, as we devotees and practitioners of bhakti, every day, every morning, we woke up and see the day. We are very fortunate that utilize this life in serving Lord. You have to understand. That is the devotee consciousness. Whereas materialist is, they won't worry about all these things. That's where they're already, their next life also destined. We don't need to worry about it. Their life already degradation. That's the thing. So as devotee consciousness is all, whenever we see the next day, every day we are, tomorrow we are seeing means Krishna is giving an opportunity every day. Another opportunity to remember him, to serve him, to glorify him. Right? See here, glorify him. Shravanam Kirtanam, where we are using active senses, is more practical. Smaranam eventually manifests. We forgot Krishna. By doing Shravanam, we will remember Krishna and reconnect with him. That's where. Hearing is the number one. Hearing. Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam, Padasevanam, Archanam, Vandanam, Dasyam, Sakyam, Atmanivedanam. 9 types described by Prahlad Maharaja. How can we do this? Prabhupada writes, if a person adopts one of this quality, one of this, Shravanam, Kirtanam, he will come back to God. That's what it is. Shravanam, Kirtanam, where we are using active senses, is more practical. Smaranam eventually manifests. We forgot Krishna. By doing Shravana, we will remember. So always remember Krishna, never forgets means what does it mean? We have to hear lectures every day. We have to remember. We have to glorify. So that's what it is, right? Yeah, even Sukadeva Goswami hears how he got to know from his father, right? Hearing, right? How he hear and repeat. Hearing and repeating. Glorifying. By that, remembering also Supreme Lord. So problem with Ashtanga Yoga is it takes many births. We never know. But there is a simple method, and Krishna himself says, given a solution, right? This lines in the Bhagavad Gita only. Tasyaham sulabha partha. I am easily available when a person takes up Bhakti Yoga. Tasyaham sulabha partha. How can we understand? For example, tasting the water. Now I'm remembering that word. Tasting the water. Rasoham apsu kaunteya. How can we remember God every time, every minute? By understanding his material nature, by understanding his material qualities, how our bodies are defined, how this, how are we, interchanging all these material elements every day, without, so all the material resources provided by Krishna himself, right? Bhumirapo nalovayu khamano buddhirevacha. Who has given this? Created by whom? Created by Krishna. For these bodies to subsist. Some bodies living in earthly planets, some bodies living in fire, sun god planet, some bodies in water. Right? So, yeah, we have to understand. And always remember Krishna, never forgets means always we have to hear. By hearing, you remember Krishna. Right? That's where there are devotees. There are groups also, actually. You all know, I think. Some of you are practicing so nicely. I need your blessings, actually. Right? So, there are groups like Srila Prabhupada lecture every day 6 minutes, every day 8 minutes. His tape is there. Devotees are cutting in some pot and pasting in groups, and to hear every day, hear something. Of course, Bhakti Yoga we do every day 2 hours of chanting, following regulatory principles, and hearing lectures. That way we remember Krishna. Prabhupada writes this statement, right? The whole life is a preparation, death is an examination. If we prepare so nicely, even at the time of death, if we won't remember Krishna, Krishna is going to remember. That is the confidence. That is the confidence Krishna is giving. That is the confidence we are hearing from Vaishnava Acharyas, Srila Prabhupada, pure devotee. But we have to prepare for that. Every day is a preparation. That may come next moment. We never know. That may come next year. That may come tomorrow. They are fortunate, Katwanga Maharaja and Rajarshi, and then Parikshit Maharaj, Rajarshi, the saintly kings, they got to know. But we never know. Seriousness is there. Essence is, we should be always be able to remember Krishna, and it happens only with Shravanam. Concluding point, okay? That's it. That's what it is for today's class. Anybody have any questions? Then we'll have a couple of minutes and then wrap up the session, okay? Anything misquoted or any corrections, I'm open. I'm open to learn from you, seniors. Please let me know if you have any questions, or otherwise we can wrap up. It's already 18 minutes more I took today also. So thank you for very much, Praveen Prabhu, for the opportunity to glorify Srimad Bhagavatam, second canto, first chapter, discussions between Parikshit Maharaj and Sri Sukadeva Goswami. So that's the thing. Yeah.
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Prabhu.
Shri Giriraj Prabhu, Dandavat Pranam. Yes, Prabhu, somebody has a question, please go ahead.
Yes.
No question, Prabhu. I just want to, I'm telling Prabhuji that like his words has lot of energy, lot of power. Okay. So thank you very much, Prabhuji. It's very nice.
You're nice.
మీ వర్డ్స్ చాలా ఎనర్జీ ఉన్నాయి. చాలా పవర్ ఉంది ప్రభు మీ వర్డ్స్ కి. థ్యాంక్ యూ వెరీ మచ్ ప్రభు.
పవర్ నాది కాదు ప్రభు, ఇది మర్సీ ఆఫ్ శిలా ప్రభుపాద, మర్సీ ఆఫ్ గురూస్. ఐఎమ్ జస్ట్ జిరాక్స్ మిషన్. మన శిలా ప్రభు, మన లీలానంద ప్రభు చెప్తాడు కదా, జిరాక్స్ మిషన్, కాపీ పేస్టర్, దట్స్ ఇట్. ఐఎమ్ వెరీ మచ్ కాపీ పేస్టర్ అండి. ఫర్ ఎగ్జాంపుల్ సి, వేరే ఎక్కడెక్కడ లెక్చర్లు తీసుకొచ్చి ఇది పెట్టిన చూడండి. Canto 1 talks about setting the stage, concepts, history. ఇది గౌరంగ దర్శన ప్రభు, క్యారెక్టర్స్, బ్యాక్ స్టోరీస్. Canto 2 talks about Krishna Bhakti, Ashtanga Yoga, Virat Rupa, Sarga, Visarga, Chatusloki. It will come in our way. In Canto 2, these other two topics, Sarga, what is Sarga, what is Visarga, what is Chatusloki Bhagavatam, it will come in second canto. Yes. So these are the things I just captured from different lectures. Yes, that's what it is. Yeah. Anybody have anything?
అంటే ఒక పాయింట్, వన్ పాయింట్ ప్రభు, ఐ జస్ట్ వాంట్ టు మేక్ ఇట్. సో ఇప్పుడు మనకి అన్ని ఇచ్చారు, అష్టాంగ యోగ ఇచ్చారు, భక్తి ఇచ్చారు, అన్ని ఇచ్చారు అనమాట. అన్ని ఇచ్చి యూ చూస్ ద బెస్ట్ వన్ అని చెప్తారు కదా మన సనాతన ధర్మంలో. ఏదో ఒకటే ఇచ్చి ఇదే చెయ్యి అని చెప్పరు మనకి, అంతే కదా ప్రభు? అలానే అర్థం చేసుకోవాలి, అంతే కదా ప్రభు? అంతే. గురువు దగ్గరికి వెళ్ళి ఇన్ని ఉన్నాయి, బట్ ఇందులో బెస్ట్ ఇవ్వండి, బెస్ట్ తీసుకో అని చెప్తారు అనమాట.
And each yuga,
ఒకసారి
in the yuga also,
చెప్పండి.
Yeah, in the time frame where we are situated right now, we are in Kali Yuga time frame, right? So in this age, Arjuna himself, he was situated in Dwapara Yuga, Arjuna, and the Kurukshetra war, it just happens to be the Kali Yuga starts. But he in the Dwapara Yuga time frame, he lives, the living entity is living for 1,000 years in that time frame. Still, he was saying that this Ashtanga Yoga, I cannot focus, I cannot meditate upon this universal form. Please show your normal, just like he cannot behold that vision actually, because he cannot concentrate. I mean, so it's very hard to focus, and it's bewildering. It's very hard actually to meditate upon. That's where he is not able to focus. He is not able to. That's where, please Krishna, better as soon as possible, you just show me the just like two-handed form, just like with me, like I associate with you, like that you are saying. We see that. So of course, yes, these are the methods given, and ultimately which is the best also given, which is the best. And Krishna himself says that, right? What is the conclusive and learning, and what is the last verse and take home? That is the last verse of Bhagavad Gita. That is the last instruction of Bhagavad Gita. Sarva dharman parityajya mamekam sharanam vraja, aham tvam sarva papebhyo mokshayishyami ma suchaha. Everything, just surrender unto me. I will take care of you. Do not fear. Abandon all varieties of religion and just surrender unto me. I shall deliver you from all sinful reactions. Do not fear. So Bhakti Yoga means surrendering. Bhakti Yoga starts with, that's where, we have to surrender to a guru, perform devotional service under instructions and teachings. That way, we are not going through all of that. One more point I wanted to add. So in the Bhakti Yoga, it inclusive of all these three. What are the three? Ashtanga Yoga also inclusive, Karma Yoga inclusive, Bhakti Yoga inclusive. How can we understand? So knowledge, for example, taking Jnana Yoga. Knowledge in a proper perspective, if we understand who is who, what is their position, what is the demigod's position, what is the Supreme Lord position, how this is designed. So that's a Jnana Yoga. Right? And Karma Yoga, right? Karma Yoga, what is that? Karma Yoga. We have different karmas, right? Akarma, Vikarma, Sakarma. Sakama karma, good activities. Vikarma, bad activities. And Akarma. Akarma talks about no bondage. Those activities, there is no bondage actually. It's liberating activities. Krishna-centered activities. Best example, we always take that example of prasadam. We take every day only prasadam. Why? Because we are acknowledging all the resources to the Supreme Lord. Right? You have given grains, you have given vegetables, you have given milk, everything you have given. And you are showing our love towards. Please glance upon your mercy so that it's become sanctified food. There is no question of karma. Krishna himself gives that instruction. Whoever not offering to me, they eat only sin. That's the thing. So sinless life, Bhakti Yogi life is sinless life. That's where they are eligible for go back home, back to Godhead. Right, Prabhu? So that's the thing. These Ashtanga Yogis also, after, got these Ashtasiddhis, they have come back to material world again. Bhakti Yoga is the topmost yoga system. Prabhupada writes actually these books, small books. Raja Vidya, the perfection of yoga, the path of perfection. We are reading small books these days. So ultimately, Bhakti Yoga is the topmost yoga system in all of this. And how can we understand Ashtanga Yoga also in this Bhakti Yoga? For example, sitting posture is there. There is a recommendation, single sitting japa in the Brahma Muhurta. So that is very much in that Ashtanga Yoga method only. We are focusing on holy names of Supreme Lord in the Brahma Muhurta time, one sitting japa, 16 rounds. What is the beautiful thing? That is same thing, like Ashtanga Yoga. So that's where these things are inclusive. Bhakti Yoga inclusive of all these three. So that's where Bhakti Yoga is the topmost. Right? Always remember Krishna, never forgets. How can we remember? By Shravanam. All the activities we have to perform. Yes, Prabhu.
Yes, Prabhu. Got it, Prabhu. Prabhu, ఒక చిన్న పాయింట్ టెక్నికల్ క్వశ్చన్. నిష్కామ కర్మ అకర్మ రెండు ఒకటేనా ప్రభు, లేకపోతే ఏదైనా స్లైట్ డిఫరెన్స్ ఉందా ప్రభు?
నిష్కామ అంటే దాంట్లో నిష్కామ కర్మ అకర్మ, రైట్? You said?
Yes, Prabhu.
Yes, nishkama karma, akarma. So basically, there is no karma. I mean, I think both are same. I mean, anybody, I feel, I mean, the word itself, nishkama, means there is no bondage in that. Nishkama, there is no, that is there. The bondage is not there. Akarma also, there is no bondage. I think anybody likes to say, I mean, I feel that both are same, but you can correct me.
Yes, Prabhuji, basically three: karma, akarma, and vikarma. So niskam and akarma, I think it's same, but it's same looks like.
Praveen Prabhu, Lavanya, Anandram Prabhu, anybody likes to share? Subbarao Prabhu. I think, I mean, nishkama karma, there is no karma involved. There is no material motives there. Those activities to serve the Lord, to please the Lord. That's where. Akarma is also like that. Yes, Prabhuji.
Okay, Prabhu. Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you.
Yeah, again, 8:55. Hare Krishna, anybody have anything? Thank you for the opportunity. All the wonderful devotees, nicely practicing. Vibrant Gachibowli congregation. I'm away from, I'm not associating regularly. These days I'm traveling. And I really miss your association, person to person, physical association. But I am always there. I'm always there in the calls every day. Those, small books calls. somehow I'm engaged in Krishna consciousness. Yes. Thank you very much. Anybody, if nobody have any question, then we can wrap up, and you all have 9 o'clock breakfast time. You spend good time in Bhagavatam hearing. Yes. Hare Krishna.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Prabhu. We are eagerly waiting for you, physical association.
Yes. Eagerly waiting for you also. I miss you. I need all of your hugs when we meet. Let us see. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Dandat pranam. Thank you. Panchakaltarabhyascha krupasindabhyo ajpatitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Ananta koti vaishnavvrinda ki Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna.
Gaur Premanande, Hari Bol. Thank you very much.
Congrats, Srimad Bhagavatam. Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you very much for your wonderful class, and then also Mangalarti, which you coordinated across the seas. Very nice. Thank you, Prabhuji.
You are there. You, all glories to you. Every week, so sincerely serving by coordinating all the preachers.
No, Prabhuji, you are the one who are doing it. Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Dandavat.
Dandavat.
Hare Krishna.